So what makes a good franchisee within the Jim's Pool Care business? What are the traits or the behaviours that your better franchisees possess?
Yeah, good question. So I guess for me, the important one, and what Jim says down at head office training, so anyone buying a business in Jim's has to go to Melbourne for 3 days and meet
Okay.
Jim. They have to meet Jim face to face. Doesn't matter what division you come from.
Yeah, wow.
Or Jim's business or Jim's ethos training.
Mm-hmm.
And he just talks all about customer service. So if you look after your customers, so I find that the more successful franchisees just provide great customer service. So they're not out there trying to get rich off the first job. They're just doing the right thing, balancing water to Australian standards, offering customers solutions and options, proving that they're educated and smart about the business they're in.
Yep.
And actually genuinely caring. So from time to time, they help customers out and do a favour here and there, especially with the regular repeat customers. We love our regular repeat customers. If we've got a customer who has us out every month or twice a month, whatever it might be. We'll go out of our way for those customers. We look after all customers, but if you're a regular customer at Jim's, there's a good chance your local franchisee is going to be there for you if you ever need them. So
fantastic. No, very good.
That's really come through in the last month. So we've had a lot of phone calls from customers wondering how we're going and is it all still okay? And it is at the moment. It's business as usual with a twist in that we're practicing social distancing, following our whole heap of protocols when on site. So we're really contactless or contact free, our home servicing business. So we've been quite lucky there compared to a few other retail facing businesses.
Just want to pause you there for a second. For the people who are watching, if you've got any questions you want me to ask Brett, please send them on through. So type them in. So there's a chat button somewhere. So please, if you want to ask him anything, fire away. He's very transparent in sharing all of his knowledge on his business, on Jim's Pool Care franchising generally. Just want to go back to the point you made there that you guys are adopting some new processes given what's happening with COVID-19. I would imagine that it's not a huge change for you guys in the sense of, it's generally one person in a backyard, doing your job. It wouldn't be like being, caught up in a jam-packed retail environment.
Yeah, so we've been quite lucky there in that we're in a business model where we are predominantly one man in a van and one person in a backyard with no one else around. So occasionally a customer used to like to come out the back and say g'day. They can still do that from a safe distance. And we've got a whole heap of protocols around self-isolation and things like that. Or if someone does have COVID, then we usually cancel the service. We have been quite lucky. So all our franchisees have been briefed weekly on that. We're sharing information from peak bodies in Australia, the government, a chief medical officer, the Swimming Pool and Spa Association of Australia have developed best practice protocols around that as well. So a lot of our franchisees are members. The national team is a member of SPASA, and a lot of our franchisee network are a member of SPASA. So I guess it's about common sense as well. So a lot of businesses are having to adapt fairly quickly right now. So I would say, as well as following protocols, be willing to adapt in what's going on. And what we've realised recently is that there's actually opportunities starting to pop up. So I think we've got through that first 2 to 4 weeks of shock and awe of what's happened. And, there's still some days I'm in complete shock when I look at the news, but I'm an optimistic sort of guy. So I'm always looking to the future and how we get through this. I feel pretty comfortable now that our franchisee network's going to get through this. There'll be a small downturn, I think, over the next 3 or 4 months, which is we're coming into winter anyhow. But I think being optimistic coming out the other side, there's some opportunities.
Hey, so you touched on before that you guys have had to adapt. So give me and the viewers an example of how you've had to adapt. So obviously you've had to adapt from a procedures, policies point of view, but what about with some of the product offerings that you've got? Has there been any adaptation there?
Yeah, we've just launched when we do that? Last Thursday, so we'll probably start marketing it this week. So we've launched. We realised there's a lot of customers. So there's 1.2 million pool owners in Australia.
Wow.
And we believe home servicing only probably looks after around maybe 10 to 15% of those pools. So the other million pool owners are going to pool shops or mass merchants to purchase chemicals and work their way through it themselves, some successfully, some not so successfully. And in speaking to a few customers and people in the industry, there was definitely an opportunity to adapt a service that we're now offering called a test and balance. So it's so the customer doesn't need to go into a retail environment. They don't need to go to Bunnings and line up with the other masses. God knows what sort of home renovations are going on, Tony, but there's people lined up around the block at Bunnings. So I also heard another statistic that the average guy's to-do list at home has grown 100% in the last.
Is that right? That doesn't shock me in the slightest.
Yes, my list has been doubling.
Is it really? It's too funny. Too funny.
I'm doing all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So this test and balance service. So what we realised is, and we wanted to make it at a price point that's accessible to all people, because a million pool owners who don't necessarily use home servicing might want to start to explore what if I got someone out to just at least help me with testing the water and adding some chemicals.
Clever. Yeah.
I'll do the rest. I'll vacuum the pool. I'll clean the filters. I just want to engage a professional to come out and test the water and add the chemicals. And so we're offering that as a contactless service. We'll do that. And it'll be, somewhere around that $35 to $45 mark, depending on the state. And also depending on the local franchisee, because we don't dictate exactly what the franchisee has to charge. But we want to offer this service and one, make it available to people who don't feel comfortable right now going into a retail environment. But two, longer term, I think there's a real opportunity for some of our team to build a little run around those test and balance services. So we're a full service business, Tony. So the goal for us is we want to find customers who want us to do everything. We want to go out there and look after the pool, and they can just enjoy it and swim in it. And that's what we do. So we'll always primarily be that business, and that's our business model. There's definitely room for a piece of our business where we can look after some test and balance customers. So most guys around Australia, 110 guys, I think most guys could fit a few of those customers in. One, help out the local community and offer a professional poolside test and balance. And the win for us is we get to meet a few more pool owners.
I was just going to say there's a longer term play there, isn't there? Once they've experienced the great Jim's Pool Care experience, albeit as the test and balance, not the full blown service, but at least then that creates the awareness of what it is that you do offer, with a view of, well, hey, can you come and do the full service? So that's very exciting. Good on you, mate, and for the rest of the team for coming up with that initiative. I've got a few questions here. So John's come on board. G'day, John. John's come and said, what is the most surprising challenge faced as a result of COVID? So is there something that has really stood out as a big surprise for you in dealing with the COVID issue?
I guess for me was the unknown. So it was escalating so quickly 4 or 5 weeks ago. The shock of it all, when they started talking about complete lockdowns of cities and maybe the whole country. As I said, I'm an optimistic guy, Tony, but I was probably dazed some days. I was coming in and I was probably immersing myself in too much news. And that's one suggestion I'd give. If you've got any business owners on here listening, or people in sales or whatever it might be who are going through a tough time, is you need to limit the amount of news you're consuming. So, I was listening in the morning, I was looking at my phone all day. I'd go home and spend 4 hours of a night. I'd watch nothing else but, mainstream media. I'd go from Channel 9, Channel 7, then I'd go across to ABC, SBS, and 11 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
I'd go to bed devastated.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Because I just could not believe,
it. Yeah.
I just could not believe what I was seeing around the world. And then it was hitting Australia. I just couldn't process it. And then I'd, as I said, being optimistic, I'd wake up every morning. I'm very positive every day when I get up, and I say positive things to myself, and I'd get up and go, right, we can do this. Let's. How do we deal with this? What can we do with the franchise network? We formed a steering committee, I guess, what we called the pool industry cabinet. So myself and several other business owners and industry leaders meet weekly now, as well as SPARSA, to, I guess, be a barometer for the swimming pool industry in Australia.
Great.
To see what we can do as a group and share ideas and thoughts on momentum, what's happening in the marketplace here and in New Zealand, which is in complete lockdown. So I guess the biggest surprise there was how quickly something escalated, and the things we all took for granted, how quickly they started to disappear. Now, who would have thought 5 weeks ago that not one pub in Australia would be open? You know, not one restaurant in Australia can you go and sit down and have a meal. Now they're not big, crazy, expensive things. They're just a Friday night going out and spending $80 on a Thai takeaway.
Correct.
Or a Thai sit-down meal, and we can't do that now. Now, I'm thinking about all the people I said no to. I'm a social butterfly, and I said no to a lot of things, and I'll be saying yes to everything when we come out of this.
Good on you.
So
good on you.
So that was probably...
That was the biggest surprise.